Hello and good afternoon from your Co-op Community Stadium. I'm Shaun Cashmore. Next to me this afternoon is Scott Langford, and you join us for today's instalment of National League North action. It's Leamington versus Peterborough Sports. The Breaks come into this off the back of 4 points and 2 clean sheets as they followed an impressive 3-0 win they picked up here against Southport the Tuesday prior, with a fine hard-fought point last Saturday away at second-placed Kings Lynn. The long journey over to Norfolk did not stop Leamington starting brightly, and they were perhaps the better team in a well-contested first half. The second half saw reinvigorated Linnets come out and show why they find themselves in a lofty league position, and the Breaks had to dig deep defensively. Today's opponents, Peterborough Sports, make the 72-mile cross-country journey, sitting 19th in the division, a solitary win in their last 5 and fresh off the back of 2 defeats. If you were of a betting persuasion, then you would be well placed to err on the side of a low-scoring affair this afternoon. Both these sides are averaging less than 2.5 goals a game so far this season. The players are just lining up in the centre circle. It's not just the remembrance of everyone who's fought and died for the country, but it's also for Brian Knibb. So everyone around us is just going to take to their feet with a minute's applause. So we'll go quiet while that takes place, and you can listen in and obviously give your own respects to Brian as well. Minute's applause fantastically observed around the stadium as well, and like I said, in memory of Brian Knibb, who sadly passed away. Just about level with the edge of the 18-yard box. It's bowled back to the number 16, which is Lawler. He just lays it out, but it's going to come all the way back to the back 4, the back 3, and Putman or someone out to the left-hand side. It's well collected, but hooked away from trouble by Meredith. Ant Lynn makes himself a nuisance, but Putman defends well, then clears into Callum Stewart. This one's going to bounce all the way through towards keeper Crook, who has to dive on it. He was trying to wait for it to run out. The spin on the ball just held it up. Ant Lynn wasn't giving up on it, and in the end, Crook had to dive on it as Ant Lynn tried to swipe a volley out of his hands.
Yeah, it's superb pressure from the forward there, not giving up on the ball, but I'm not too sure why the keeper just didn't pick it up to start with. Whether it goes out for a goal kick or he plays it out of his hands, it was his ball either way. A bit of unnecessary pressure there.
Quick throw, not a long one. Evans in towards Meredith. Meredith works it in towards the area. There he is. Who else? Callum Stewart heads home for the Breaks. That's his 10th of the season. He cannot get kept off the score sheet. Really good play from Leamington. Everyone in a Peterborough Sports shirt had worked their way into the penalty area, anticipating the long throw from Rob Evans. Leamington thought quickly. Dan Meredith, little sprint down the right-hand side, received the ball out wide, whipped it in first time, and Callum Stewart was there unmarked to head home. Leamington 1, Peterborough Sports 0.
It's absolute superb movement. He starts just off the back post, and his movement round the back, off the blind side of the defender, and it's a super header back where the ball came from and into the far corner. It's absolute super header.
Throw in taken quickly in towards Jarvis. Here's the captain Lawler, spins away from Lynn, a little bit too easy. Then Lawler, just good feet to get away from Stewart and from Walker. It's great play by Lawler. Felix on the edge of the box. Good challenge on him. Manages to maintain possession though. Felix left-footed drive. It was about half a yard wide. Hawkins watched it wide, didn't make any movement towards it. He was confident that it was always going to be wide in the end. His shot and anger was never troubling Callum Hawkins. It's going to be collected again by Peterborough Sports, but Callum Stewart again doesn't just score goals, Scott. It's that defensive responsibility that I think what makes him such a valuable asset to both Paul Holleran and this team. As then they break to Peterborough Sports. Gyasi inside the penalty area. It's really poor from Gyasi. He had 2 up with him. He just gifted it straight to the Leamington back line. Now Leamington try and break. Here's the aforementioned Stewart. Stewart away from the challenge really well of Alban Jones. Tries to slip it in towards Lynn. Lynn inside the penalty area. Left-footed drive. Really good block by Fryer. That'll make its way out with it for a corner. No, it's kept in play by Berridge. Berridge works it back to skipper Walker. Walker drops a shoulder onto his left foot. Back out to Berridge, who's still wide on the left. Berridge, Stewart, great flick in towards Walker. Walker inside the area. What a save by Crook. Really well worked by the breaks. Lovely bit of play on the left-hand side. Little triangle between Berridge, offloaded by Stewart into the path of Walker. He took one touch to get it on his left foot inside the penalty area, sent it goalwards. It's a fantastic save by Crook to keep the scores at 1-0.
Yeah, it's an excellent save from Peterborough Sports keeper there. He certainly kept him in the game. But again, that entire attack starts with Cal Stewart at the, dropping into his midfield, winning that huge tackle, and then playing that ball forward. It gets recycled round in the wide area where we said, those fullbacks, those wing backs are going to get high. That's where you're going to find the spaces, and we created such a good shooting opportunity. But again, good save from the keeper.
Landers will have this corner, drills it towards the far post. Seems to be a big push, and it's going to be a penalty. Well, I think it was Ewan Williams who was just positioning himself for a header, and then an orange shirt just give him a shove in the back. Referee Jack Hall couldn't be any better placed. He was looking straight at it, and he didn't hesitate at all in pointing to the spot.
Yeah, it all starts with the defender getting the complete wrong side of his player, and once that ball's dropping in front of him, there's no way that he's going to be able to get round the player. And silly decision, two hands clear as day, pushing in the back. He's about 5 yards in front of the referee. Referee's got a perfect view of it. It's correct call for me.
Callum Stewart slotted away a penalty into the bottom right hand corner in the last home game here against Southport. And now he can double not only Leamington's advantage, but his tally for the day with this penalty against Peter Crook. Peter Crook, no stranger to saving penalties. He had two in the playoff final win in 21-22 against Colville Town. What could he do against Callum Stewart? Stewart steps up, right-footed, sends Crook the wrong way. Straight down the middle from Stewart. He points to the sky and runs to the fans in the corner. Composed as ever from Callum Stewart. It's Leamington 2, Peterborough Sports 0.
Yeah, it's nothing more than he deserves. He's absolutely on fire today. That entire attack starts with him dropping into midfield, winning the ball. From a super save from the keeper, then comes the corner, and then that corner results in a penalty. He started the attack, he finishes the attack, and he thoroughly deserves it. Peterborough will be hoping for half time now, so they can get in and sort of get their thoughts together and start again. But Leamington definitely on top and playing the better football at the moment.
Hawkins then just looks for his options and waits for the whistle. The whistle arrives and Hawkins goes long, left-footed, up towards the edge of the box. Headed away by Peterborough Sports, but Meredith will be back doing his defensive duties as always. Toes it back to Ward. Great switcher play out towards Berridge. Berridge gets past one challenge. Berridge all the way to the edge! Just wide.
Yeah, it was a superb switch of play from Meredith out, and it was a super first touch to create the shooting opportunity, but just inches wide.
Gallagher, Jarvis, Gallagher again, only as far as Leamington captain Walker. A little bit of head tennis in the middle of the park, and in the end Williams steps in and Berridge collects it to feet. Here's Callum Stewart, the scorer of the two goals which separate the two sides so far this afternoon. Meredith, drop of the shoulder infield. Meredith all the way to the edge, has a go! Straight at Crook, struck with venom from Dan Meredith. It just opened up in front of the right back, and he decided that he was going to have a hit and try and find his next goal for the club. Dan Meredith was looking for his fourth goal for the club with that strike, previously against Chester in 2020 and Redditch last year, and then scored that brilliant team goal against Oxford City this year. So he was hunting for his second goal of the season. It was on target, but it was easily collected by Crook. Now Landers has it on the right hand side, feeds it into the area, and Crook has spilt it straight into the path of Callum Stewart, but Callum Stewart's adjudged to have been the wrong side of the back line, and it's going to be pulled back from offside. Well, Crook, the keeper, nearly was the culprit, didn't cover himself in any glory, just spilt it straight into the path of Callum Stewart, but in the end the offside flag comes to his rescue, Scott.
Yeah, Lino saved the keeper there. It's a super run down the right from Landers and a beautiful ball in, right into that danger area between the penalty spot and the 6 yard line. Keeper should be doing better, spills it right at the feet of Cal Stewart, but unfortunately deemed to be offside.
Evans then with the throw in on the right hand side. He hurls it in towards the near post. It's flicked more into his own penalty area by a Turbines defender, and they clear it at the second time of asking. And here's Sembi Ferris's first touch, and he's bearing down on the Breaks back line. There's 3 back for the Breaks. It's Quainer and Berridge who go and face up Sember Ferris. He whips a good ball into the far post. Felix collects. Felix lays one towards the edge. Good drive! Fantastic save from Callum Hawkins. Really good drive at Callum Hawkins from Jonathan Bland. And Hawkins dove away to his right-hand side, and it was a big fingertip to tip it over his own crossbar.
Yeah, it's a great counter-attack from Peterborough Sports. Defended the long throw well, broke with numbers. It was a great ball across the box and then set to the edge for a shot, but what a save. It was destined for the top corner until the fingertips of Cal Hawkins got there. You know, he's kept his team in it here, he's kept them comfortable at 2-0.
And it'll be a corner for the Turbines. Their captain, fan favourite, 7 years with the club now, Dan Lawler, works the corner in towards the far post where Callum Hawkins backpedals and just has to get fingertips on it just to take it away from the on-rushing Alban Jones. Alban Jones collects the loose ball. Sember Ferris, free on the edge of the box, drives straight at Hawkins, straight into his chest. He'll be happy that that one was right at him. It was hit with plenty of venom by Sember Ferris, but it didn't have the accuracy, and it was straight at Leamington keeper Callum Hawkins. At the back again, they have it, the Turbines. Gallagher, again, it's long and searching. Sember Ferris tries to chest it off to the aforementioned Will Van Leer, but again, nothing on for the Sports in an advanced position. They have to come back and start again, but they managed to do so well because Sember Ferris picks it up between the lines, and now McCann has space out on this left-hand side. Stands up Meredith. McCann in towards the penalty area, gets away from the challenge, drives it goalwards. It's a fantastic strike, and it's inches wide of Callum Hawkins' far post. He was at full stretch. He waved it goodbye, and as he had a look behind him, it just managed to cannon into the billboards instead of the back of the net.
Yeah, inches wide. It's really good good play down the left-hand side. He beats 2 players to cut in, creates a shooting opportunity, and it is inches wide. As you say, Cal Hawkins at full stretch there, and he'll certainly be happy that his clean sheet remains intact and that it's just crept wide.
Hooked over the top for the Turbines front line man. Felix to chase, and he's got Sember Ferris up with him, and they've managed to steal the ball in a dangerous area. Quainer stabs it away well. Walker pulls out the challenge, so does Edwards as it's tidied up by Lawler. Lawler, a little 1-2 with Van Leer. Back they go towards the back line again. Gallagher just drops his shoulder, gets away from trouble and marauds in towards the Leamington half. Van Leer again, nothing on for him, has to go back towards Fryer. We wait for the stoppage time board to see how much will be added on at the end of this game. Sember Ferris, McCann on the left-hand side. Sember Ferris again, infield, in towards Alban Jones. He's got Putman on the left, uses Putman. Putman, little bit of space, doesn't measure the cross, decides to go in towards Van Leer. Low ball all the way towards the far post, and it's in the back of the net. Well, I think it was Kane Felix, the former Leamington man. It was well worked down this left-hand side. Alban Jones works it into a dangerous area, in towards Van Leer. He had space to measure a low cross towards the far post, and it was tucked home by Kane Felix. And as we tick into stoppage time, there is just a little bit of trepidation still in this game. Leamington 2, Peterborough Sports 1. Kane Felix, the former Leamington man, on the score sheet.
Yeah, there's been a few times where they've, in this second half, where they've caused us threats down this left-hand side, and that was another one of those times. And it's a great drilled ball across the edge of the 6-yard box, and there was Felix unmarked at the back post, just to tap it into an empty net.
The Leamington players need to defend their box well in these closing stages. Sember Ferris, infield, in towards McCann. Sember Ferris again, space on this left-hand side. Low cross in towards the edge of the area. It's going to come all the way towards Putman, drive over the top of the bar. Well, Callum Hawkins is just asking for calm, appealing for calm. Leamington just seem a little bit skittish in these closing stages.
You'd like to think that might be one of their last chances, but Leamington just need to keep the ball for the last minute or so. Just see this game out.
Last throws of the dice for Peterborough Sports. Everyone forward, only McCann back. Lawler stands over it. One-man wall of Callum Stewart. Lawler, right-footed, in towards the far post. Gambling at Lynn is the far post, but it's over the top of the bar and Leamington escape. Well, Van Lynn got free. He seemed to lose Berridge, but he couldn't get over the top of the ball as it was delivered into him, and it's going to be a goal kick to Leamington, and that may just be enough for them to see this game out. In fact, it is. There's no time for the goal kick. The referee, Jack Hall, blows the final whistle, and Leamington, well, they were in control for large portions of this game. They gave themselves a little bit of trepidation late as Kane Felix managed to pull one back for Peterborough Sports, but in the end Leamington have seen out this win. 2 goals from Callum Stewart in the first half were enough to do it. It's been a good watch here at Yukart Community Stadium this afternoon, but for now you have a good weekend. It's finished at Yukart Community Stadium, Leamington 2, Peterborough Sports 1.
Paul, it got a bit tight towards the end there, probably not what you wanted, but Leamington have come away still with the 3 points. Your thoughts on today's game?
Yeah, I think probably both sides were probably... we've had a little bit of a bug going around the club this week. We had to patch a couple up. They're probably similar. Not ideal with the schedule coming up. They're very adventurous to say with the wing backs going really high and the two up top and the breaking midfield players. They're very brave. So it took us a bit of time to get used to it. The key thing was in our good spell, which was probably from 15 to 45. We found them passes into players in them spaces. We got Callie on it, players, the wide men coming in from out to win and getting on it, and we caused a lot of problems. And at that spell, we were really, really good. And I thought we started the second half really brightly as well. Had a couple of good chances down here to get the third, but you've got to give them a lot of credit. A lot of games we've kicked on in games and gone again, but we didn't. To be fair today, it was them that kicked on. I thought their subs made an impact. And we just, probably for the first time here this year, we sort of lost our way a little bit. But then there will be days like that, and there's probably reasons for it as well. I think probably with 4 or 5 players, not 100% today. You can see the legs sort of went out of us in the middle of the park because both you and Anne Walks were struggling a bit today. So the legs went out of us a little bit in the middle of the park. We tried to change it a little bit, didn't quite work. And then you've just, sometimes in them spells, you just got to make sure you get through it. And we did get right at the death's disappointing because I think we can do better on our right-hand side to stop it. And then it's come across the box, it's come across 3 or 4 bodies. So we should do better there. But that was pressure from them. You've got to give them credit in that period. This is a side that we've played them, I think, 3 times before, and 3 times they've beat us comfortably. They've got some good players. They've settled well into this league over the last X amount of years. They've got some, experience, some youth. So on the whole, I thought we were good for an hour. I was pleased with our combinations, pleased with how the wide men came in and got an overload. We looked a threat in that hour. We've scored 2, created another 3 or 4 really good chances. But you'd have to say then in the last half hour that it was theirs. And if they'd have been more clinical, they might have nicked a point. Did we deserve to win the game? Yes, because we were the better side for an hour and probably could have gone 3 in that period. And it's probably the first time we've had to sort of get over the line ugly a little bit, but I do probably half know the reasons for it. So listen, it's another great 3 points in this division, and we move on to the next one.
We saw Ted Rowe come off in the first half.
It's just that first little explosive run he did on that left hand side when he chopped past the one and came inside. And when he's accelerated from a standing position to a sprint, he just said he felt his hamstring. And yeah, not ideal. That's not ideal. No, the reason for coming straight into it, because it was hamstring, because we've got the 2 physios. One physio come gets him in the warm and just treats him really, just get his treatment on it straight away. So yeah, not ideal. I will say I thought Tim Berridge did really well. Really, really well. It's an area that we've thought about using him from time to time. We do the same with Callie. And I thought in our good spell, he was really bright and lively. And he's an intelligent player, Tim. And he's probably unlucky not to score first half. So yeah, there was lots of pluses in that period. We just needed to manage the game a little bit better and have a little bit more control on the because when you've got a team pushing so many bodies forward on the to get back in the game, when you win the ball back, you've got to be good enough to pass the ball into the zones they've vacated. I thought Callie did really well first half in that area. We got the but we passed the ball, got on the half turn, and then you're away then. And we didn't do that in the last half hour. So it was a bit like you have it, and we give it them straight back, and we give it them straight back, and eventually you're going to get punished, and that's what happened at the death. But listen, these are no mugs. They're a good side, got some good manager and whatever. So listen, on the whole, I'm delighted with the results. Obviously, the home. Like most teams, I think your home form is vital. It's vital for us. I'm certainly not being disrespectful when I say this, but I think at the start of the season when you come into the league and your Peterboroughs and your Farses and your Rushells, there's clubs in around it that you think to yourself, right, these are games that we've got to try and make an impact and all get points out of. Because you also know that there's other teams that will turn up here in this division, and if they play well, it could be a tough afternoon. At the moment, whether we're playing teams that I think are in around our borough, or whether we're playing teams that I think are from a different league in the same league, we're doing really well, and we're we're going toe to toe with a lot of teams. Just could do it 1 or 2 of these niggling injuries to clear up, and because we're going to need everyone. They could, thankfully Shorrock's only got 1 more game. Joe Dawes getting there now, so it'd be nice to get them 2 back in the group, because we need them now with the games coming up, because we're 1 or 2 players we're having to there's probably too many minutes going into them really. So yeah, but no, really good start to the month. Points tally's good, but it's a tough month. But listen, I think the key thing you try and drum into players as well is when you're on a run like this, they've got to drive to keep it going. You've got to keep wanting to win these games, still wanting to not get beat, wanting to get through the difficult periods, enjoy the good times. And we showed a little bit of everything today. I thought it was glimpses when we looked really good, and there was glimpses when we had to really dig in there today. And even when we weren't great, just find a way to be structurally good and get through the game. So there was lots to like about it today, but lots to work on.